Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vase. Um, yeah, it's been a really rough week with all the events in New York, and I got to drive to Philadelphia in a couple of hours, so I wanted to bring you this quick, uh, just the price of Bitcoin show. Big miscommunication with like Leah, so couldn't get her on, and timing wise. And Jimmy is teaching his workshop. Giacomo is also busy out in Italy. So all you get is me today for a quick trading Bitcoin. I've been trying to update my script because like TradingView screwed up again. It's getting really frustrating. So once again, TradingView did something on their end, and those that are getting access to the indicator for the first time over the last couple of weeks basically have not been able to use it because they screwed something up. And we do have a fix, but it's complicated on my end to fully change my script to account for their screw up, especially if the next day they're gonna open it back up. So I don't really. It's not as simple as it sounds, right? Like when the platform screws up, it's not as simple as it sounds. Um, anyway, let's just go straight to the charts, to my screen share. I'm going to try and make this a short video just because I'm not going to make a video tomorrow because tomorrow I'm teaching my workshop. So I'm busy all day tomorrow. So there's not going to be a video. Let's go to screen share. All right, I'm going to start off the usual way with my disclaimer that you have to learn trading and make your own decisions when it comes to trading. I really don't care about your opinion, whether I'm right or wrong. I'm just telling you what I see in the charts. So you need to learn how to trade, and you need to make your own decisions because I'm not trading your portfolio. And I have absolutely no interest in trading your portfolio. I trade my own portfolio in my retirement fund. So that's enough work for me. And so you got to make your own decision. So I have a website. This will be migrated over to tonebase.com eventually. But for now, you can still find it at Liberty Life Trail, Educational Tools, Learn Trading. And the section that I tend to focus on because I know it fairly well, and not a lot of people in crypto understand it yet. They're understanding it better now. Is the time analysis section and the sequential system. So that's what you see with the numbers above and below the candles. For more information, check out the consulting section. And for those that will be attending my workshop, that will be in Philadelphia, that's taking place tomorrow. Got about 7 seats left. I usually, sell like 3 or 4 seats like the day of. So if you are still thinking about it for tomorrow, and go ahead and grab your seat because I am expecting these 7 or close to it to go over the next 24 hours or over the next 12 hours before the event starts. It's how it always happens. I opened up Dublin for registration. Looks like 2 people already registered. And pre-registration is open for London and Montreal. So I will be doing 3 back-to-back workshops. We got Dublin, we got London, and we got Montreal coming up in June. And you can pre-register, which means you can pay and you score your seat. But I probably don't have a venue yet all set up. The day, actually, sorry, that's the 23rd. Let me update this. Hold on. Hold on a second here. It still says 24th. It's on Saturday, guys. Yeah, it's Saturday 23rd. If I close the page and open a new one, it should work, but that's fine. Yeah, so this is actually June 23rd on Saturday. All right, I gotta update that date. Okay, and again, you can like pre-register, get your seat, but more details are coming soon. All right. Also, I'll be next week when I have time. I have no time. When I have time, I'll explain what Bitcoin Live is. I have not had time to do it. To explain it, it is going to launch in about 2 weeks. I'm going to start making content for Bitcoin Live. There is a link to, again, not to sign up and pay yet, but you can, again, pre-register for more information right here. Bitcoin Live, here's the link on my affiliates page. It's at the top. I will be contributing content there along with Peter Brand, Haijin Lee, and several other people. And again, if you like my work and you want to support my work, please check out the affiliates and referrals section of my website. BitMax saves you 10%. TorGuard will save you 50% with the discount code. So go ahead and check those out. Also, if you haven't read it yet, Hyperwave, which is Leah and Tyler's podcast, Leah published her first article on Medium. So go ahead and check that out. And in case you're wondering, yes, that is a picture of Leah. So don't mess with her. She has, is an amateur boxer, but just like with a lot of us that get into Bitcoin and start actually working in the world of Bitcoin, especially content creation, it doesn't give you much time for, what you did before you started becoming popular. So in my case, I no longer had time to trade nor, work out and exercise. And Leah will be getting back into boxing. But yeah, it's a really good article. Go ahead and read it, and don't mess with Leah because that's actually what she looks like. All right. Next, what do we got? Let's go to Bitcoin. Let's just go straight to Bitcoin and talk about Bitcoin for a minute here. I mean, I do have your live chat. I don't actually have anyone going through your questions. So if you ask a question with a tip, I will see it. If not, I probably will not see it, right? And so just keep that in mind. I don't have anyone like going through the chat and looking for questions. All right, here's the chart. And look, it's not looking good. Nothing has changed from yesterday. And nothing has really changed from yesterday. And the chart is price flipping to a red one. So according to the numerical indicator, what you have is a price flip, which means you should be in a completely neutral stand. However, if you take a step back and look at it from a bird's eye view, this is starting to look pretty scary. You bounced off the 50-day moving average. You bounced into the 50-week moving average. You bounced into the 30-week moving average. And now you're going back down towards the 50-week moving average. We have seen this before, even in Bitcoin. And every time I say this, people keep telling me how the fundamental picture is different. The fundamental picture is not different at all. There is no difference in the fundamental picture of Bitcoin in 2014 versus 2018. Keep in mind, all of the advancements of Bitcoin, technologically, socially, pretty much everything, it's already reflected in the price. So for all those people who say, you don't understand, Bitcoin is in a much better position now than it was back then, my answer to them is correct. That is why Bitcoin today is worth 10 times more than it was worth in 2014, okay? That it's all factored into the price, okay? It's all factored into the price, all right? So in 2014, we bounced off the 50-day moving average into the 50-week moving average, into the 30-week moving average, could not make it past the 30-week moving average, and then we fell below the 50-day moving average. When we fell below the 50-day moving average, it was in August of 2014. We did not get back above the 50-day moving average until October of 2015. So that's 14 months. We spent 14 months below the 50-day moving average. Let's go to today. That is the big concern. The big concern is if we fall below the 50-day moving average, are we going to be stuck below it for an extended period of time? The way I see it is we have been falling a little bit faster than we were back in 2014, even though it feels very, very slow. So it's very, very likely that even if we fall below the 50-day moving average, we're not going to stay there for 14 months. We might stay there 7 months, 8 months, but not 14. I do believe this bear cycle will be shorter than the bear cycle of 2014, but it doesn't mean it's going to be any less volatile or it's going to take you down any less amount in price. The 2014 bear market took you down from about 1,200 down to 150. Okay, so just do the math. 1,200 down to 150 is about an 85 to a 90% correction. So if you take an 85 to a 90% correction from, let's round, $20,000, right? If you go down 90% from 20,000, okay, that would take you down to about, what is it? Is it 3,000, 4,000, right? So 90% from 10,000 would be 1,000. So 90% from 20,000 would be 2,000, right? So let's say it's 80 to 85%. That puts you in, in that $3,000 to $4,000 range. All right. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we went all the way to 2K because that would match the price fall of 2014. Now, again, I don't want to pick on, it's just very convenient for me to slide this chart back and look at Bitcoin. Last time I compared it to gold, we can compare it to the, let's say the NASDAQ, right? Maybe I should go and take a look at Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ, right? So I think I have a chart of the NASDAQ. Is this the NASDAQ? Yeah, this is the NASDAQ. Let me drop all other indicators. And this is the daily NASDAQ. We have to compare at least the weekly NASDAQ. And I have to, there's a go to button somewhere. I learned this recently. Go to. Let's go to the year 2000. Wow, it's been almost 20 years. Let's go to 1999. Oops. 1999, let's do, I don't know, October, like that. Here we go. All right, here's the NASDAQ. Wow, look at this. The NASDAQ topped on a weekly 9. Anybody surprised? I'm not. It didn't hold as a 9. It flipped, but hey, still a 9. All right, so here's the NASDAQ, right? And I'm going to compare that to Bitcoin. Let's put Bitcoin on the right. You know what? I'm going to use an index just so the chart is clean. I wonder if it'll have... Oh, good. My TI indicator's on. All right, let's do this. Let's make it bigger. Perfect. All right. Okay. Here's NASDAQ. The NASDAQ peak on a weekly chart. Here's Bitcoin on a weekly chart. Okay, current price of Bitcoin. And the moving averages are the same, right? Here, the 7, 30, and 50. I'm stealing those from Tyler Jenks's viewpoint. If you didn't know which one was Bitcoin and which one was NASDAQ, and it looked like this, what would you say? Where are we here? This is kind of what it looks like right now, right? This is what you want to be careful of, right? So here's the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ fell very quickly, okay? Bounced off the 50-day moving average into the 30-week moving average. It then went and pierced below the 50-week moving average and went back up and again tried to approach the 30-week moving average. Let me just move this over, okay? Here's Bitcoin. And you know what? Let me go to Bitcoin of 2014 first. Oh, I'm not on. Let me go to log scale. That's better. All right, so here's Bitcoin of 2014. Here's Bitcoin of 2014. Okay. Let's compare Bitcoin of 2014 to the NASDAQ, and then we'll compare Bitcoin of 2018 to the NASDAQ, right? You had a peak. You fell quickly. So this area here, the first fall, was a lot bigger in the NASDAQ. I'll give you that. Okay. In Bitcoin, wasn't that bad. Eventually, your 7-week broke below the 30-week right there. It did not break below the 50-week on its first shot. And then it all turned up along with the price bouncing off of the 50-week into the 30-week, got rejected twice. You do get a double top here, right? Here's Bitcoin. You got the double top is more pronounced in the current view than it is in 2014, right? Now, in this case, the 7-week never was able to get above the 30-week, and the 30-week eventually rolled over. Here, the 7-week briefly got above the 30-week, but then they were both declining. And you see this right here, the triple moving average cross, okay? The double death cross, I should put a double cross, not triple. The double death cross happened on the same week. Here, the double death cross happened 1 week apart of each other. And look what happened in the NASDAQ. Boom, got crushed, got absolutely crushed when this occurred. Here's Bitcoin of 2014. What happened when this occurred? Boom, went straight down. Here's the 150 low, okay? I remember this. It was 150 on several exchanges, all right? And then eventually, you know, we got stuck at the bottom for a while, and then boom, you get the double cross in the opposite direction, separated by, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. Let's look at the NASDAQ. What happened here? See how all 3 moving averages are declining? Boom, you got your double cross, and then it wasn't even enough, right? And then it still fell some more. Continued falling, and then again, all the moving averages are declining. Like you had a head fake, right? I mean, how many people must have been bullish the NASDAQ right in this point, and it didn't work out very well? And I see some tips with questions, but I'm not going to get to them right now. Also, I'm not sure exactly where the question is. Yes, it's possible for Bitcoin to go to all-time high tomorrow. It is absolutely possible. The problem is it isn't very likely, okay? That's the problem. Anything is possible, right? The stock market can go to zero. Gold can go to $1 billion. Anything is possible. We can run out of oil tomorrow. Anything is possible. The question is, how likely is it going to happen? And not very likely is my answer. Now, eventually they crossed again right here, all the moving averages. And now we've been trending up ever since, okay? It wasn't an easy road, but trending up ever since, okay? Now, let me go back to the current situation. So there's your comparison of the NASDAQ 2000 bubble on a weekly scale. This is what you don't want, right? When this happens, like you are in for a lot of pain when this happens, okay? So now let's see the current look of Bitcoin and compare it to the NASDAQ of the year 2000. Okay. So here's the current look of Bitcoin, right? Now, this is the weekly chart. The daily chart had a bit of a double top, right? In this area here as well, in a couple of areas right here, right? The daily chart did. So here's the NASDAQ. So this is, I guess I would compare this guy similar to this one, and this guy similar to this one, like the period of, I know the audio podcasts are probably lost. So the period of August 2000 is similar to the current period. And look, you have your 7-day in between the 50 and the 30. The 50 is still rising. The 30 had already, kind of leveled out. Now, the reason why the 30 leveled out in the NASDAQ earlier is because on the initial drop, we pierced the 50-day moving average. We never did that in Bitcoin. So the 30-week moving average is still holding up relatively well and is trending to the upside. But remember, once these tops start leaving the calculation of the 30-week moving average, this thing is going to turn and turn quickly. So right now, you are sitting somewhere in this area where the 7-week moving average has gone up and is starting to flatten out in between the 30 and the 50. And if all three of them roll over together sometime in June, July, the way they did in the NASDAQ, I would be looking for another 50% correction in the price of Bitcoin or thereabouts, okay, from there. So I know a lot of people think this is FUD, but once again, you have to spell out the word FUD. FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Do I have fear that Bitcoin is going to fall? Not really, right? I am mentally prepared for the price of Bitcoin falling to 5,000, 3,000, even lower, right? I am mentally prepared. Most people that scream at me on Twitter are clearly not mentally nor financially prepared for Bitcoin going down. So I actually don't have any fear in saying what I'm saying. Uncertainty. I seem to be pretty certain that I expect the price of Bitcoin to fall. So again, I do not have uncertainty in my look at the markets and reading the charts. I seem to be fairly certain. Is there doubt in my call? Well, maybe a little bit. Like I could be wrong. We could bounce to the upside, right? But I have no FUD. I have no fear. I have no uncertainty, and I have no doubt in what I'm seeing in the charts, right? People just like to throw that acronym around when in reality, just break it down into what it means. Just break down into what it means, okay? And when people say I'm spreading FUD against things like Ethereum and all the other scam coins, that is correct, right? Because again, break down the word. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I have a lot of fear and uncertainty that Ethereum is anything other than clown code, right? Like I have a lot of uncertainty that Ethereum is stable and anyone should, put anything on top of Ethereum, right? So there is a lot of doubt in my mind that anyone worth a damn should be building anything on top of Ethereum because they're going to end up scamming people when Ethereum goes belly up, okay? So please read into the acronym before you start throwing it around. All right, that's it. I'm gonna stop the comparison here. Let's go back to the NASDAQ chart and let's go to the current time period. And here it is. Right, since I happen to be looking at the NASDAQ, it's not a great week for the stock market, but this is the weekly NASDAQ, and it doesn't look that bad to me, to be honest with you. All the moving averages are trending up. They're all above each other. We're technically in a bull market. We're not at the all-time high yet. Would be nice to get to the all-time high. And here's another thing, right? Again, this isn't directed at anyone individually, right? Like this whole idea, right, that so many people think that Bitcoin has to go up forever. Gold has to go up forever. But for some reason, the stock market is always overvalued and overpriced and is about to crash. I don't understand that, right? Bitcoin is a private asset. Stock market is a private asset. They should be correlated. If you think that Bitcoin should be going up forever, for whatever reason you give it, money printing, the Fed, the government, the Bitcoin should go up and up and up and up and up, you should use the same logic in your evaluation of the stock market, because the stock market should be going up for the same reason that you think gold or Bitcoin should be going up. They're no different. The only market that should be falling because of government printing should be the bond market. So the interest rate should be going up. Like this is what bothers me. If you feel so confident that private assets like Bitcoin and gold should fly to the moon, so should the stock market alongside. The same money printing that drives the price of people into the price of Bitcoin, the same thing drives people into the stock market. They're no different. All right, Sean, I see you throwing a tip there. Thank you so much. Let's see what you have to say. Any workshops in Korea? I would like to go back to Korea and do something there. But like, just it's hard. You know, the world is big. The world is really big, and I can't get to everything, right? So, but like the next time I go to North Asia, I'll try to go to Korea and Japan and maybe Taiwan. You know, I'll try and hit up that area, right? Because it's all in the same vicinity. So I'm doing Southeast Asia this fall, and maybe next year I'll try and make it to North Asia. All right, let's go to the daily chart. The daily chart is what a lot of the action is. I'm already seeing your CMF isn't looking too hot and is going into negative territory, right? The last time it went into negative territory, you had this big mess, okay? Now, this was a lot of negative CMF, but not a lot of negative in the price. And that's when the short squeeze came. The bears just could not drag it down. So let's look at the current situation. We are currently on a 3 of 9 going to the downside. Now, I thought there would be a bounce back to the breakdown level, and there was. It just took place a couple of days earlier, okay? And we never got our 9. So now I'm still waiting for that 9. So at this point, what I'm going to do is, it's getting too cluttered. So I'm actually going to delete some of these arrows, and I'm doing it live on camera before someone, starts saying how I delete history. This arrow's gone. This arrow's gone. This arrow's gone. I'm deleting them all. I'm going to draw a whole new set of arrows. Okay. So here's my current look. I don't really care for these trend lines. I really don't. So I'm going to draw a brand new horizontal line, and I'm going to draw it right at around 8,000 because it's a nice fat round number. Whatever that is, 80, 89, 79, 80, okay? A drop below this line should once again accelerate the downside. That's it. That's simple. Now, I do think that 75, 7,600 is a reasonable area. Now, I'm going to draw this arrow in a very strategic way. I'm going to draw it as of tomorrow, and I'm going to draw it exactly, 6 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 24th. Okay. So there it is. All right. So that's what I'm drawing right now. I'm looking for prices to accelerate to the downside once the price drops under 8,000 again, right? We'll look at the lower level time frames for more detail. So Oh, hold on a second. I should probably check my messages. I'm waiting on something. All right. So, and this is the same arrow that I drew here, right? So this is my 12-hour arrow. So again, this was drawn very strategically. So this is for 2 more candles, right? So I was going to be looking for a 9 around the setup trend line, around this $7,700 line. And I'm still looking for that 9. So according to the 12-hour chart, the next couple of candles should not be all that great. In order to get a 9, all we got to do is close under $8,050. And do I think we're going to do it? Yeah, probably. I give it a greater than 50% chance that we will. Okay. Now, once we get this 9 on a 12-hour, we can certainly bounce back up for a couple of candles. I'm not going to do a video tomorrow, so we'll see what happens on Sunday when I get back from Philadelphia. Maybe I'll do it from early morning in Philadelphia somewhere. Here's the 4-hour chart. I got a bunch of indicators here. Your 4-hour chart did give you divergence. And here is the thing, right? It gave you divergence and then it went lower. This is why you have to be very careful with divergence. Now, even though it went lower, it's still giving you divergence, but how did it really help you, right? Like if you assumed this is awesome divergence and you went long and you didn't get out on the shooting star candle or the candle after, you ended up in a losing position. This is why trading off of divergence can be very, very dangerous, because divergence doesn't mean it can't get more divergent, right? And cost you money on a trade. So the OBV isn't very divergent anymore, right? The OBV is about leveled. So all you have is divergence in CMF, some divergence in RSI still, and some divergence in the MACD still. But remember, this is only a 4-hour chart. This gets completely trumped by the daily and the weekly, right? And if you look here, you have a symmetric triangle, off a drop. What's going on here? Oh, I have the magnet on. Okay, so that's not ideal. All right, but you are working on a bit of a symmetric triangle. In which direction do I think this triangle is going to break down or up? It's more likely to break down. All right. You got huge resistance above you now. All right, 1 hourly chart. And I mean, I do have the cloud on. I'm not a cloud expert. Your CMF is going positive. That's good. Your OBV is going up. That's good. But your price is also going up. And look, you're running into resistance of the lines from the cloud. I don't know what their names are, guys. I mean, a lot of this stuff I kind of know how to use, but I don't really know what the hell the names of some of these things are. I don't really care. But I promise I'll learn the cloud. I'll talk about it more intelligently. But yeah, this is not looking good to me, and I'm not even an expert on the cloud. Is this gold? Gold's looking pretty bad, huh? Again, where is your gold? Your gold has been nowhere for 7 years. 7, right? We were in a bear market between 2011 and 2015. Since the low of in late 2015, we are currently at 1290. The low came in at 1050. So gold has gone up a whopping $150 on just over 1,000. So gold is up 15% since it bottomed in November of 2015. It's almost 3 years. Okay, let's look at the stock market that everybody hates, and go to November 23rd to be exact, where gold has made 15%. This is the NASDAQ. So let's just stick with the NASDAQ. Let's go to November of 2015. That's right? November of 2015? Yeah, November of 2015. Here's your NASDAQ. November 23rd. Here it is, November 23rd. Haha, it was on a 9 too. It was on a fine. We're gonna pick not the most optimal time, right? And the NASDAQ bottomed in February. So let's go here, right? What was the price of the NASDAQ? $5,100. Since then, the NASDAQ today is 7.3. So the NASDAQ has gone up $2,200 on 5,000 on 5,100, right? So the NASDAQ is up like 40% while gold is up 15%. Do you guys see the problem here? Does anybody see the problem here? And everyone keeps screaming how the market's going to crash and your gold's going to go through the roof, okay? Fine, I cherry picked the NASDAQ. Let's look at the S&P 500. Okay, let's go to November 23rd of 2015. Still 17. Oh, this is daily. Let's go to weekly. Okay, now we're in 2013. All right, here we go. 2015. Let's find the stock market. Where the hell is it? Okay, here it is. So let's look at November 2015. November 23rd, 2015. All right, here it is. Okay. Oh, no, it's 2014. My bad. Let's go to 2015. September, October, November. So here it is. November 23rd. We were at $2,092. So let's round up. 2,100. Where's the S&P today? 2,700. So we are talking $600 on 2,100. Okay. So what's 2,100 divided by 600, right? So what do we got here? So it's either a third or a fourth. So it's between 33% and 25%. So let's just like round like almost 30%, right? So the stock market is up more than double, right? And remember, I cherry picked the low of the decade for gold, and the S&P has doubled the return, and the NASDAQ has tripled the return. Okay. And people continue to scream how the stock market needs to crash and how they are, assets that and the stock market will earn you dividends, which gold does not. All right. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's be real here. Okay. So the stock market is, it's a little worrisome. I can put the moving averages back in. I mean, if we have an up week, if we have another week next week, like this week, the 7 week will get above the 30 week, and then it will kind of be, bullish again. So I'm still bullish the stock market. I don't see a crash coming. I just don't. Hey, there could be a crash. It's been, almost 10 years of straight up stock market. I think stock market is still undervalued. I think people still think it's going to crash too much. We'll see. All right. That's all I really had to say. Do I have anything else here? Not really. No. Check out the meetup. Here's the meetup I will be doing in Philly tonight. I'll be driving there probably in about an hour or two. I'll be on my way to Philly. And tomorrow is my workshop. That's the affiliate code since I have it up. If you like my work and want to support my work, please, and you're going to use any of these services or products anyway, please just go to my affiliates page on tonebase.com and go through one of my links. The worst it can do is save you money, or does nothing or saves you money. But that's how you can support my videos. And since I'm on this page, and definitely read Leah's article, Hyperwave Medium. And the Philly workshop is here. Got about 7 seats left. So go ahead and check those out. I'll talk about Bitcoin Live next week. That's about it for me. I'm gonna stop screen share, and let's see if you guys got any questions. I see something with a tip. Let's see what you write, Scott. On your analog, it looks like 2 more ups to challenge 30-week before a drop. Look how many times QS bounced between 7 and 30. I don't know what QS is. I mean, look, I don't know how many times we're going to bounce between the 50 and the 30. We already bounced once of each of them. And in reality, that's enough. That's enough bouncing, right? Like, we don't have to bounce anymore. We can just pierce it straight down, right? Again, if I go back to the NASDAQ chart, this is the NASDAQ, actually. If I go back to the NASDAQ back in 2000, oh man, that's going to take a while. Oh no, I can just do that. Perfect. If I go back to the NASDAQ, like, look, it bounced here and then it broke the 50-week moving average. And, you know, I probably would have expected it to go straight down. At this point, once you get a full weekly candle, oh wait, I'm not screen sharing. Sorry. Here's the NASDAQ, all right? Look, once you bounced off the 50, then you went into the 30 on the NASDAQ. Then you went down, broke below the 50, and had an entire red candle below the 50. At this point, I'm not expecting any of this. I'm not expecting it to go back to the 30-week. I'm expecting this. I'm expecting it to go straight down and try to time it off of this 9, 1 to 4 candle correction. Then it went down. Off of this 9 was a much more sustained correction. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, once it broke down really quickly, it went back up. I didn't expect this, right? And then it got, bounced off the 50, off the 30, bounced off the 50, bounced off the 30, broke down 50, and then it went down. So sure, in the NASDAQ, 1, 2, 3, three bounces off the 50. One of them, was a bear trap before a full out breakdown. If I go to Bitcoin and I look how many times we bounced off the 50, well, this is once. I would say this is twice, and that's it. And then we broke below the 50 and went down. How many times did we go back to the 30? Well, this is probably once back in April. This is definitely twice in June. And then we rode the 30 for 2 months. We were riding the 30 as it turned to the downside for 2 months. Okay, now let's look at the current situation. We bounced off the 50 once. Maybe we bounced. Maybe you can consider bounce off the 50 back in February. It's trader's choice. We bounced off the 30 once. Are we gonna bounce back off the 50? Maybe. Are we gonna bounce off the 50 and go to the 30? Maybe. Will we go back to the 30 and ride the 30 for 2 or 3 months down like we did in 2014? Maybe. Are we gonna go to the 50 and ride the 50 as it flips over to the downside? Maybe. I don't know. Are we gonna pierce the 50 on the next shot? I have no idea, right? I don't know. All I know is that Bitcoin is in a bear market, and it's not easy to get out of the bear market. And as these moving averages roll over, it's going to be even harder to get out of the bear market, right? So prepare accordingly, whether it's mentally or from a trading perspective, okay? You're not going to be able to time the perfect trade, but you need to have that trade in the proper direction. Going long in a bear market is dangerous. Going short is always dangerous, right? Especially in crypto, because you get short squeezes that crush you. Like, don't trade with leverage. Well, I'm not going to make much money. I'm only going to make 20% a year. Well, that's the sign of a good trader, right? Like, this idea that a trader makes 1,000% return in a year is borderline ridiculous. If you can make a 40-50% return a year for 10 years, you'd be a god in the traditional Wall Street space. All right. All right. I think I'm going to call it a day, guys. I'm a little under the weather as well. So yeah, I'm looking at some of the comments. Everything looks borderline useless. Someone's saying, would I sell my $10,000 bet for $4,000 right now? No, I am. I made that bet when Bitcoin was almost $10,000. Now Bitcoin is $8,000. It's halfway to 6,000. Why would I take less money? I mean, I'll take the net present value of 10,000 right now. So I'll take maybe 9,000. I'm not going to take 4,000. If someone wants to hand me $9,000 now, yeah, I'll take that, or 8,000 now, because that's the difference, right? There's a $2,000 difference. I'll take 8,000 right now and not wait for the 10,000. I'll take my full Bitcoin right now. I'll probably do that. But no, I wouldn't take 4,000. You kidding me? That's insane. How can you do TA without looking at the volume? That's what I do. I don't really look at the volume. I have been able to, volume is very tricky, and I know how to read volume. And in my 15 years of experience, I am able to, like, most of the time, I don't waste my time on volume because I know what volume does without even looking at it based on price. For me, the price tells me what the volume is. I don't really care much about volume. All right, I got a question with a tip. Thank you. It looks like it's in Japanese yen. If you could mine a Bitcoin for less than 10,000, why would the price of Bitcoin ever go over 100,000? Using okay. Well, there's scarcity in Bitcoin, and there's FOMO. And when a lot of people want to buy Bitcoin, and there's not enough people that want to sell Bitcoin, the price will continue to go up. It's kind of like saying the cost of like if I pull up an oil chart, right? If I pull up an oil chart, I want to do oil monthly. Oh boy, check that out, boys. Not gonna say nothing, just pointing, right? Look what happened. You look at the last time you had a monthly 9. Like here's a 9, 1 to 4 candle correction and down, and then boom, there's a 9 on the downside, telling you to buy right off of a beautiful reversal candle, and look where we are today. So, oh wow, another nice 9 off of the back end, and wow, another Jesus. Talk about the random number generator. This is the monthly chart of oil. Sorry, guys. Like I said, a little under the weather. Look at the monthly chart of oil here. All right. And beautiful 9 followed by, oh, man, that's great. Oh, and Wall Street didn't see this. Oh, I don't even have the old indicator. Let me put the new indicator up. You're about to see my current problem, I think. So, Yeah, so TradingView screwed up and you can't add my indicator to new charts. TradingView screwed up. I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, I need to update the code. I've been busy. I've been at conferences. So I can't get my new code up here. Okay, so we're using the old code. That's fine. Old version of the code because it's on the chart. If it's already on your chart, you can update charts and it's still there. Anyway, um, look at oil. The price of oil went to $150 in 2008. Can you tell me how much it cost to mine 1 barrel of oil? I bet you it was like $10, $15. Okay. Yet the price of oil went to 150 bucks. And then it fell down to 40. Okay. Price of oil went from 150 down to $32. What was the low here? $32 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 6 months. In 6 months, the price of oil went from 150 to 30. And guess what? It probably cost less than 30 bucks a barrel to get the oil, right? So just because the cost of mining a Bitcoin is less than 10,000 does not mean that Bitcoin can't go to 100,000. It really depends on how crazy people get about thinking that we're going to run out of oil. Okay. And look, nothing happened. Okay. And oil today is $70 coming off like a $20 low, right? Oil hit $26 in 2016, and now we're up to 70. So though be careful. So if you're a commodities trader, you might want to keep an eye on this 9 right here this month. All right. Anything else useful? All right. So someone is saying that I've said that 4,900 and 1,300 are good support levels because those were the prior highs. Is it a rule on TA to retest those old highs? What about Fibonacci fundamental analysis? A fundamental analysis is irrelevant in this case, right? We're about fundamental analysis. What is your fundamental analysis telling you? Fundamental analysis is telling me that Bitcoin is overpriced. You don't have to agree with my fundamental analysis. It's that simple, right? Why is Bitcoin overpriced? Because I just came from 4 days of conferences where I was the only person that was wearing anything related to the Bitcoin logo. Nobody else was. Everyone is shilling Ethereum and EOS and scam coins I never heard of. No one cares about Bitcoin. The fundamentals of Bitcoin are terrible right now because everyone wants to print their own money and pump their scams. Okay, I don't understand where people are seeing this amazing fundamental analysis for Bitcoin right now. Everyone wants a shitcoin. Nobody wants Bitcoin. When people actually want Bitcoin, I will be bullish from a fundamental perspective. But all I see is people wanting Ethereum, Cardano, EOS, Waves, BitConnect, OneCoin. This is what I see. I don't see people wanting Bitcoin. All right, guys, what else you got? I know that the people that watch my YouTube channel mostly want Bitcoin, but when you step outside of your computer, if you actually attend conferences, if you actually start talking to people, okay, all they're going to tell you is how Ripple is going to overtake Bitcoin. I'd rather see EOS overtake Ethereum, because it'll prove that Ethereum is garbage before EOS, dies. Or I want to see EOS take over Ethereum. Then I want to see Cardano take over EOS. And then I want to see, Tezos get resurrected and take over Cardano. Like people need to understand that all this other garbage is fungible with other proof of stake scams. Bitcoin is the only one that isn't. Is crypto market overvalued? Of course it is. Just like the stock market. The stock market has been overvalued for 100 years, and it will continue to be overvalued, right? In my mind, it's undervalued, but for most people, it's overvalued. Yeah, because again, all of these are shit coins, and they're worth a lot of money. And people that couldn't even graduate high school are becoming millionaires. That's not reality, right? They're all going to lose all that money. We talked about the USD coin by Circle in a recent morning video, so please check that out. Just look at the title of the videos. All right, guys, it's 12:30. I got to get to Philly. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will turn on my camera for a minute just to wave goodbye, and I will see you all on the next one.